Ryan was looking at the groom who was continuing to call his fiancée. His family was also worried. Her fiancée, which he finds up for the first time, was looking so rich and had so much attitude. He was hanging that veins of his forehead was visible. Ryan came back to Seoul after years possessed for the wedding of her bestie. Ryan was confused after seeing the situation. He was thinking about where did she go? Did she get kidnapped? Otherwise, her father's face fell, so he didn't accept this from her. He looked at her fiancé and told him everything. Well, Bella never talked about her fiancé to Wine. It was the first time Wine saying him, your fiancé had listened and looked at the people. He didn't want to get inside, but he was ready to tell everyone that his fiancé ran away because at that time he couldn't do anything or wanted to marry anyone else. Now Jungkook was standing hopelessly. He was heartbroken because he liked Bella so much. Bella never showed that she didn't like him. Suddenly he looked up and his father was coming with a girl. His expression fell as he was shocked to see a girl. Bella's family were watching them as they couldn't do anything. Jungkook grabbed her and stood up in front of her. Her face was hidden because of her pain. In the room, Jungkook, why do you marry me? He was asking her, what do you want from me? She was standing in front of me quietly. She was asking him for my question. Why does he believe you? How can you agree to marry your bestest fiancé? Huh? Tell me, your father asked me. And in return, what you want? You need something. That's why you agreed to marry me. Why are you hiding away from me? And how can you marry a stranger? Tell me what you want. Nothing. Then he, are you fan, huh? Or do you love me secretly? Your father asked me to do to not to tell you. Look, why? And I'm your husband now. Tell me, what did he say? Don't hide anything from your husband. Ask your father. He shouted and walked out angrily. One sat down on the bed Sally and was over by his behavior. His father wanted her to marry him because he didn't want to bear the insult of his son. Before dying, he had from young, but he was going to die, and his father gave her the option to live after he died. Mar was so emotional, and also his father was such a good human. He was so much alone, so she promised to help her. Well, he that was a deal between them. After a big man was sitting on the couch while looking at the birds, but suddenly he entered like a storm. And where is my file? He was searching, but she didn't yet. But she because she remembered the day when he said something to her. Flashback. Man was fixing his clothes as she didn't like the mess, but suddenly, why are you doing this? Shivaranjan looked at him. They were looking so dirty. So, did I ask you to do this? Don't touch my things again. I don't like it. She nodded and he closed the closet. Now she was just sitting looking outside while giving attention without he looked at her. Do you know where my file is? He nodded and you put them on the left drawer. He checked and found it. He was smiling but looked at her with straight face and thank you. And then walked out. Well, he was not a bad guy. He was just angry. He has anger. My life is going. Now one was laying on the bed and he was on the sofa. Well, that was weird because he could lay in the bed while maintaining distance between them. But he was trying to sleep, but mine didn't care because he was so disturbing. She was staring at the ceiling. Remember her childhood. His father was the expensive her mother. She refused to marry. The next morning, Mary was sitting with Mrs. Joy, and she was telling her stories. Mrs. Joy but forced her to tell her everything related to his past. They were happy and living couple. Mine was feeling happy with them because they were not like theirs. And he was so arrogant. Mr. Joy came and she got up and they were going on a business trip. And Jungkook came and said, just pack your stuff. I will tell you later. When she asked, he nodded and packed her. All things he ordered his guards to put her luggage in the car and then they drove. Sitting beside him while thinking where were they going. He was looking so relaxed. He thought that he was in a good mood today. Suddenly he stopped in the car and now go out and that car will drop you at your place. She looked at him confused. He smiled. I know you also don't want to live with me now. So go. Looking so innocent, but he turned and drove her. She wanted to cry that moment. She married him because his father and God told the humiliation. On that day, his father told her who he was. When his mother told her about him, and that suddenly was that man her then accepted. Young who happily came out and entered, but when he entered, he saw his parents. He smiled over when his father asked where is when she Young to bring her back. She's your wife, and don't forget she was with you when your so-called fiance left you. Mine was sitting while her tears were falling, but suddenly the car stopped when the driver asked her to leave him. She came out and saw him. He was looking at her. He felt bad. Come back, he said softly, and she nodded. He was feeling bad because of him. She cried. She entered, and his mother smiled and asked her to sit with them. He also sat with them. His father was so angry. He knew that after dinner he would get scolded. Well, he was young, but still get scolded because of his stubbornness. His parents were so angry at him. Jungkook came back and laid down on the couch angrily. She knew that Mr. just called him. She believed that he started hating her because of fear. He always gets scolded. Well, she covered herself with the blanket and closed her eyes. The next morning, Ryan was laying sitting her here while talking with Mr. Joy. I became happy after hearing that you are his daughter. I would never ask you if you were not her daughter. I heard that you even saw you many times but never talked to you. Your mother was a friend of mine. Yes, but after his death, when we lost everything, nobody asked. I'm sorry, it's not your fault. You helped me. No, you helped me. They were smiling, and Janko was looking at them from the glass with different expressions. Wine came and saw that he was sleeping. She walked towards him and was about to put the blanket on him. But what was he talking to you? She flinched and stared back. Tell me, he was suspicious. He was telling me about my grandfather. Thora, he was talking about me. She walked towards him and sat down. She was so sad because he was missing his mother. He was staring at her. She is innocent and nothing to do with me. She just saved my reputation. He was thinking about this. 1 month later, Wine couldn't believe that she lived in Ireland for a month. He was sitting on the couch where he was from today. His cousins were coming and he was so happy because they were all his friends. He was nervous because she still felt hesitation. Suddenly, the door opened and his cousins entered. She lay down because she was so tired. When he came back, she was sleeping. He looked at the couch and then to the bed. She decided to sleep on the bed as he was tired of sleeping on the couch. He realized that his mother would never let him leave her, so he started to adjust. The next morning, when she woke up, she was surprised to see him on the bed, but she quietly walked out of the room. You made this wine only just for the fun? Just for you, she again nodded. I want to taste. Can I? Yes, she started drinking his juice and smiled. Well, many people talked about you, but you are very kind. Maybe they are jealous. He smiled. He was the same age as her. They were talking at Janku Canter. This is good drinking, he said while giving her the glass. No. One tried, one was afraid that she might accept his offer, so she doesn't want Leon. Why are you forcing her? He entered and they looked at him and he walked towards Leon and put his hand on his shoulder. What are you doing here? I was just talking to her about what wine was watching. Jacob, why are you minding him? We just talking. Well, I don't try to flirt with her. He whispered in her ear. I know you very well. I agree. I know she is your wife, but I don't believe you. But why are you? How can you bear this idiot? One smile. You are lying, jealous person. Shut up. I'm not jealous. I know. You. After saying this, he walked out. Jangu looked at the glass and grabbed and drank the juice from her glass. Jung was sitting there while looking at her. She was feeling nervous because it was the first time he was looking at her like that. Suddenly, Yon got up and walked up. And I know why you agreed. You want money I gave you. And now what you want. She was accepted this. She made a non question because I love you. Okay, but really, we can't live together. I don't want to. So you want and required love. Looked at him and realized that he was more dumb than her. She turned her face and Leon came. They both sat down quietly. They entered the room and why don't love me? We can't live together. Why we can't live together? Are you? She controlled herself. Don't worry. In 3 months I will leave everything and you. And you will not see my face again. She turned and walked towards the room while he was standing there. The next morning they both didn't talk to each other. She was avoiding him as much as she could. Now he was standing in his father's office looking at the files. His mind was on her words while he appreciated because she bore his baby and she did everything for him. If the only 3 months and why not live like good friends, I would not hurt her again. She's a good girl. She saved my reputation that I will become a good wife for her. One was sitting on the bed looking at the beautiful clouds as he entered. She looked at him. If only 3 months left, then let's live like friends. She was surprised to see him like this. He sat down on the bed and you are a good woman, not like a stubborn like me. She tried to control her and also he smiled. I know there's a reason behind you. Can I hug you? She nodded and he hugged her. She felt so much good that they hugged each other for a good long time. She made up her mind that she would leave him one day. 1 month later, they came here and he was taking photos of her. She was standing, but suddenly someone stopped and one stopped. Hi, Ryan. After so much long time, they met each other and they were good friends. Uncle walked towards them and they looked at him. Who is he? He smiled. My uncle was smiling. What? Shut up. Don't talk rubbish. Okay, but my name is Kyle and what's yours? He was asking from Junk when he was just staring at him because he didn't like the way he talked. I'm Junk. Okay, Levi, let's go to this. I heard it. That's very good, girl, and don't worry, I will pay your bills. Okay, bro, don't mind it. He laughed and they both walked towards the hotel. His plan this was annoying Changu so much, but he didn't say because of fine one was happening being with Carl. It was because they were good friends. After a long all day, they were sitting on the bed. One was seeing her photos. She was so happy, but Chanku was staring at her. She looked at him and what happened? I tried. So sleep. Ryan turned off the light and then he looked at her. The next morning, Ryan and Junko was spending very good days together. After that, he didn't behave badly with her. She didn't want her intentions to control him or made him fall in love with her. She realized that it was better for both of them to leave each other. She didn't want to live in a messy marriage. She never thought of loving her. Her intentions were clear. Now she was walking with Kyle. Suddenly, Junko stopped and Kyle walked out. He realized that she didn't need him. He angrily walked towards the food area and sat down while Ryan didn't realize he wasn't with them. Suddenly, Carla asked Martin, why did you marry him? It's a long story, and she looked back. Then she asked him, why? I don't know. After searching for him over a bottom and a first, she finally found him. He was sitting here while drinking the juice. She walked towards him and jungle. Why aren't you picking up my cards? Why are you calling me up and making me feel left out? He sat even in front of Kyle. One sat down and Kyle left to buy the drinks. It's okay. She smiled and then, now let's go. He nodded and they both walked out. After a week, they came back from dinner and they enjoyed it a lot. He was happy. He spent a good time with her. Now he was using his cell phone and she was talking with someone in his ear. But on her, she was talking about Bella. She still didn't come back. Her parents were so worried about her. They were asking from why and Janko became so annoyed from Bella. He started to hate her. Yeah, I don't know where she goes. Well, she didn't share everything with me. I was dumb and who shared everything with her. She didn't even tell me about you. She was in love with someone unharmed. 2 months passed. Janko didn't remember that it was the time of her leaving. Him, his father, had recovered from the disease, and Van was happy that he didn't die. Van was sitting peacefully, but suddenly he entered and stood in front of her. Van, did you help her to run? He asked, and Van looked at him confused. What? Her parents sent me the video and said that you helped her dress. I was the bridesmaid. I didn't help her to run away. I didn't know this girl is. Why if you didn't, then tell me. I will not let anyone blame you. Janko, I said I don't help her and tell me why you're still finding her. Why are you getting angry? Just asking question. I don't want to be with her. Janko, I know you still have a feelings for her. I don't care. What do you mean by you don't care? Huh? So are you okay to see me with another woman? Janko, don't change the topic. You still want to find her. She never be able to live with him, but now she wasn't so much like, why next first explain to me why you don't care. Are you crazy? Leave me. I just don't care because it is scared that one day I will leave you. Okay, if you don't care, then I also don't care. She angrily stepped back. I'm leaving you. After 1 hour, he came and looked around the house. He walked in the kitchen. She was also not there. He asked from his mother. She didn't know his searched for in the whole house, but she wasn't there. He walked out, and then the girl told him she left with the suitcase. He was surprised. He was calling her, but her number was off her. He became so worried. Bad thoughts started coming into his mind. Where are you going? He was feeling that someone happened with something happened. Where suddenly he stopped in front of the park and started sitting on the bench. Slowly he walked around. What are you doing, Gary? His wide eyes were teary. Now they were sitting as she was saying, you don't know, everyone is blaming for helping her to run. I didn't tell you, but your money relatives told me. I'm tired of this. I was hurt when you also said the same thing. I wasn't blaming you. I was just asking you because our parents were saying that you had, but I believed you. I didn't do anything. She broke that. Want to hear? Don't you feel something between us? Her heart dropped and she abruptly leaned towards her and she leaned back. He came closer to her. I started to like you. Can't live like you. Okay, let's live like a husband and wife. She nodded and many months passed and they were living like a happy family. His parents were also happy and found his girl. Now they were laying beside each other. He was looking at her, but she was using his cell phone. In front of him, he leaned towards her. She smiled and looked at him again. Did this and she sat on and climbed on him. My Bala was standing in front of his parents. The man was looking at her. Bajak was trying to defend him. He's lying. I'm really. She's lying. I never met before the marriage date. I also have reports. She showed them and it was his word grievance or but she wasn't ready to face the situation. Tears started falling. I don't believe in this. I'm ready to give a checkup again to your family. Okay, I believe that she is lying. Her father moved it, and while one was scared, she can't. Her father, baby report came. When reports came, what happened? He was encouraging her. Whole and one Karen didn't know what to do because he knew that she was lying. One was tempted when he was just worried about her or not. She said that to believe him that she didn't say anything. She didn't believe him. She was just afraid. She was afraid to leaving him. The next day when she gave it as it came out to his baby's father couldn't believe it and he was still denying why was shocked. Balak really said that she would do. He tried to ask many questions like with whom she ran and tried to prove that it was not. But everything was clear in front of them and was so heartbroken but still didn't do believe Bella she was once bestie. Jung was so heartbroken and tried very hard to remember what did he did with her. He tried to find out what their Dr. Chris said at was his lounge where he was sitting in grief. Leon was sitting beside him and looking at him. Janko tears are falling while crying. No, she will leave you. After what you did, it's better for you to separate. Can't you talk about a good thing? He was staring at cinema talking where his tone was so low that Danny cried. Mom was holding Bella's phone was standing in front of her. Bella's was sleeping. Man searched everything. I didn't find anything. Suddenly Bella's changed it. Suddenly man put the cell phone immediately. Man stepped back and why are you still here? Man turned and looked at I know you hate me, but why this is truth. I don't believe you are lying. Man, this is truth. Why are you living here? Don't you have self-respect? Yeah, man rolled her eyes and walked out while Brian was suspicious about one number. It was in her cell phone. The next day, Brian again checked the number, saw that the number was Bella's husband. Brian's was written because Bella had a husband and she wanted to be. Well, Bella's was the fame, demanding money from him. Junker man have checked everyone to the husband where her husband was. She entered the husband went to the ICU, and after asking the nurse, she entered and saw a young man in a very bad condition. It was very hard for him to breathe. When I walked towards him and he looked at her, he was sitting, waiting for someone. What relationship you have with them? It was very hard for him to. After a moment, Janku was sitting in so much tension while holding his head. Suddenly, his cell phone started ringing. He picked up the call, and your wife asked that his eyes written. And what are you saying? We found your number in her cell phone, and she died because of sudden outburst in love fire in a hospital. Her name is Wyatt. He got up immediately. He came away. And half outside of the hospital was burning. He tried to find her body. Then he saw her body in so much worse condition. He looked at the ring and it was the same. He sat down and started crying. Why can you leave me? He was holding her hand in which she was wearing ring. He was sobbing, but suddenly someone pulled her hand on his shoulder and why you are alive, he liked her crying. He looked at her, what is she doing? She came here for her husband. At home, I want money for my husband. That's why I came here. That's why I was demanding money. He's in so much more than they should ask money from without me doing the drama. I thought that he would not give me out anyway. Well, you can go now. Ivan saved her from your manipulation. Thank you, Ivan. You saved my husband. Ivan Oribella got up and left. What did her husband think when he came to know about what she was doing? She was destroying someone's house with well, her own parents refused to give her money because of that. She loved her husband so much. No one told him that she was, and they were happily living after that.